and welcome to Aaron Russo's podcast. I was just driving along and I thought, let's do a podcast. I've got a bit of a drive ahead of me. And you know what? Whether it's a short podcast, a long podcast, you guys are gobbling them all up. I really appreciate that. And what my thoughts were today is I'm driving into Melbourne from Mornington, and not that that makes any difference to anything. And I was thinking, what sort of an evil person or group or organisation or something restricts humanity from having the love that is there? You know what I mean? Whether it be any industry, anything that's going on in the world, who would restrict humanity from having all it can have, to be the best it can, to be the healthiest, to be the most abundant? Who would stop that? What sort of a person? And I thought, do you know what? Regardless of narcissism, which I understand that narcissists can't see their downfalls, they will never apologise. It's built in. I don't know what causes it. I don't even want to get into it. But I sort of was thinking, you know what? The only sort of person that would do this to humanity would either filter, block, restrict, give it an alternative to the beautiful love, because that's what we're doing. Saying love, the best possible healing outcomes, right? The best possible form of medicine would be absolutely everything together and absolutely nothing excluded, and then that is the best for humanity. And it doesn't matter whether it's discoveries, free electricity, water, all of these things. What would stop? What sort of an evil motherfucker would even contemplate doing that to humanity? And I was like, you know what? They wouldn't. It's just someone that doesn't know any better. It's someone that's all they know. They don't know the possibilities. They don't know what's out there. They don't know, in fact, what amazing things are possible for a human being. Because we don't understand the system we belong to, right? So therefore, we don't even know how the human body works, for fuck's sakes. So, because I'm thinking, all these, not just conspiracy theorists, we've got to give that a bit of a rest too, because everything's compromised. But a lot of people speak of they. Who's they? Who's doing stuff? Who makes it that the cost of living is so bad? There can't be a they. There is just no one that evil on the planet. Now I'm on the other scale, where pure and it's an innocent energy. But seriously, no one would restrict or do this to humanity if they knew better. If they knew what was available, if they knew the love, the feelings, the experiences, the protection, the guidance, the support, the magnificence, all the things hidden in plain sight, that we actually have a piece of the creator of the universe in us. We're not sitting there praying and asking for something in the sky. It's right inside us. Do we know that? I don't think we do. It's just because I just can't see even a narcissist, right? Who are very opportunistic. There's certain things that a narcissist would love. And one is they would love to live for a lot longer than what they are. Not to be narcissists, because, you know, that's the only way that, like, they know how to be, I guess. But the many things that are available are the very things that most of the narcissists that I know are after. Health, youth, looking younger, being younger, living longer. It's one of their biggest fears. Because they're very vain, obviously, but now there's a self-diagnosis built in. There is the innate. There is a low DNA efficacy right now that restricts certain processes and things happening, not from the physical body, but from the mental and from the spirit, from the soul. The soul is the divine part of us. And I guess if anyone knew that, if anyone knew they didn't have to be in competition, you don't have to compete for anything. There is plenty for everyone, and it's just a matter of, you know, not knowing. And then to experience the full spectrum of the whole process. Even, okay, so, you know, there's all this magical shit I'm telling you about. Now, what's available now? If our DNA efficacy is like, I don't want to be like fucking mainstream media where they're just fucking pushing a narrative and giving you breadcrumbs and keeping you going. They've been giving you all these fucking discoveries about cancer for how long? Even people's language in the paradigm on Earth has changed. You know, just last night I was watching TV and they said, oh, it was a quiz show, and he said, oh, what does this product, this new drug or something do? And someone said, oh, you know, it helps with allergies or whatever. And he said, no, it actually helps with heart attacks, but it will be allergies next week. Meaning, we don't fucking know anything. We're fucking so stupid. And yet, we believe everything. And it's part the system and part our fault for not critically thinking and whatever. But the fact is, what is available now? Now, everything that's available now is everything that I've just gone through in the last 7 years. Will most people take 7 years out of their life to transform their life to the new magical one? No, not now. They're brainwashed, right? And it might take longer. You know what I mean? It, you know, it depends on processing, commitment, determination, and it's all a payoff. Everything is a return on investment. Even in yourself, even in the spiritual, even in the thing. Not many people like myself would take 6 months off and go and walk the beach every day to transmute things, to forgive people you're never going to get an apology from. And so really, there's a lot of fear in the unknown. And most people do fear the unknown. But, you know, there's people that, with certain, I guess, you don't even have to be a narcissist or a full-blown one, with narcissistic tendencies, that power goes to their head. Now, you've got to remember, consciousness is just awareness, right? It's just awareness of the system that we're part of and how it works. So someone in low consciousness that doesn't know about this intelligently designed. Like there's fucking amazing things going on right now. And so the very low consciousness person that doesn't understand all of this, they think it's about power, control, and getting as much of the money, and regardless, they think, oh well, they don't even believe in reincarnation and the soul, because they've seen nothing. They're of so low consciousness that they're trying to grab whatever they can while they're here. And I guess the great likeness to that is politicians. You can look up most of the politicians, get into politics and become multi-millionaires. How the fuck does serving your country a gateway to becoming a fucking millionaire, a multi-millionaire? And without it, they're just fucking normal dicks. But these are fucking private school boys. Because it was, and it still is, predominantly male dominated. Which there must be some reasoning to that as well, because fucking male energy's pretty dumb in comparison to female. And back in ancient times, all the females were allowed to educate, pass on wisdom, share, whereas males were told, go and fish, mate. That's a fact. Now, these politicians, just coming along and trying to grab as much as they can. Now, does that sound like someone who is trying to do the best for you, for your life, for your community, for your state, and for your country? Fuck no. In fact, that greed, corruption, piranha-like fucking let's fucking attack and get whatever we can out of everything seems to be across a lot of things where there's money involved and where it's allowed to happen. Bad behaviour happens in children, and it continues if we allow it to continue. And it's no different to that. If we allow it to happen, or they do it and they get away with it, we all know many stories of people that don't do the right thing ethically, but have continued to take everything they want by being a bully in the business world. It's what most of your big companies are. And so you can see that. It's all, and then sometimes they go, oh, I'm a bully, I get the money, oh, it works, and just keep doing it. Fuck it, let's just keep going and seeing how far we can get. Not understanding about the erosion of human interface, breakdown of communities, the gaps that many people can fall through, and they're like, well, that's their fault for not being an asshole. That's their fault for being soft. That's their fault, And it aligns with all the bullshit that we have been continually conditioned and force-fed from life and past generations. Oh, don't cry. Stop crying. Pull yourself together. All of this shit. What's wrong with letting your emotions out? What happens if you keep stopping yourself from crying every time it happens, and you just keep pushing those emotions down further and further and further and further? What happens when you're in a dysfunctional relationship And instead of resolving something between two people, which is quite easy to do if you've got a brain, we keep putting it on the resentment pile and never ever dealing with it. And the resentment rises till the pile gets so fucking big that no one wants to fucking deal with it. It's just too out of control. So I guess at the end of the day, it is the way it is. There's not one company or one of the greatest arseholes in the world controlling and playing all this. It's full of a cesspool of piranhas opportunistically trying to take whatever they can, and whoever's the biggest bully gets to take more. And so when we say they, or when a conspiracy says, oh, they're against us or that or whatever, it's a whole cesspool of piranhas trying to get as much as they can, and it obviously affects everyone. And the nicer you are, the more genuine you are, the more considerate, empathetic to other people, you should be winning. Those nice people, right? You know that saying, what is that, nice people come last or something like that? That should be the opposite, right? When you deal in energy and fucking how people work like I do for 34 years, nice people should come first, nice people should win, nice people should be abundant, nice people, pure and innocent people should be at the top. But they're not. The bullies are. So something's fucking wrong there as well. Now this is a fucking really a big problem. Big statement, big problem. And we've got the opposite. Isn't that funny? We now in humanity have had for a few generations, for many generations, the opposite of what's happening. But, you know, it was only 100 years ago, maybe a little bit more, that we, the biggest industry in the world was whaling. Only 100 years ago. Or maybe 120. Get off the fucking... Sorry. I was just this bloody cyclist all over the road. Now, the whaling industry was because of the oil. I think it was for lanterns and lighting rooms and all the rest of it, right? So it was huge, biggest industry. Then someone invented electricity, and all of a sudden the whole paradigm changes, the whole world changes, and we go off in a different direction. Today, the biggest bullies are the biggest companies and business, and I've gone and worked with some of the biggest companies in the world, some of the biggest brands. I left, $150,000 jobs to go and get a $70,000 job in Coca-Cola, just to see how they do it. And they asked me the question. They said, "Oh, why do you know?" I just sort of gave them some bullshit and said, "Oh, I'm happy to start at the bottom. I'm looking at this as a career thing, and I'm going to work my way out and all this shit." And it didn't take me long to work it all out. And also, I didn't stay there that long. Okay, I guess in its probably entirety, I stayed there for 8 months, and I made a huge amount of money. I made over nearly, well, not as much as I was earning before, but I made $30,000 in bonuses, because Coca-Cola are the most aggressive company. They're like, "Oh no, don't just go in and talk as a rep. Go in and infiltrate their storeroom. get shelf share. There's all these KPIs that basically are bully tactics disguised as democracy, just like our life is. And you go in there and you bully your way in, and you give them fact-based selling that the facts are 70% of all non-alcoholic drinks are a Coca-Cola that are drinking in this country. Now, yeah, it's a fact, but you've bullied your way in there. So you've got me out there selling Coke to people that don't need it. Oh, there's a public holiday coming up, you better stock up, we've got high weather and this is that. You know, they give you all the brainwashing that you need to get in there. And then you've got these carrots. This is the most amazing thing. For me to make $30,000 in 8 months in bonuses, there's a whole page of what's this? If you get a new business, you get $3,000. If you sell in this product that's not, in high percentages in your area, there's this bonus. You get this if you do that. New product. If you get 60% of your sales area buying that drink, you get this bonus. If you get 5% up, you get this bonus. And they give you all the tools to do it. Don't get me wrong. You know, they'll if they want to make Powerade the next big thing, the way the bullies do it is they go, we'll give you 1 for 1, buy one get one free in the case of Powerade, because the national numbers are slipping, or they want to, So we have bullies. It's a little bit like, people say, you go to shops and stuff and you buy stuff you don't even need. There's a way to market to biology that makes you buy shit you don't need, and you can do it to people in businesses. They profile business owners. They have different business owners, and at the end of the day, that's what makes the world go round. And the bullies are winning. And the nice guy, doing the right thing, paying all the right tax, not looking for loopholes, not playing the game, not fucking, gets absolutely fucking nothing. You're actually feeding the bullies. The bullies need so many of you goody two-shoes to be able to, support, prop the system up, prop all that up. So today we have realised that there is there's no they, okay? It's a cesspool of narcissistic piranhas and bullies that don't know any better, okay? There's no one to be angry about. There's no one to be, you know what I mean? If you're a good person and you've got something good or a good business, or, and something's not going your way, or a good discovery for humanity, don't get frustrated and angry and basically build up resentment and anger within yourself over they, because they is not someone that you can project that at. They is just not knowing any better, okay? Most of the conspiracy theories is not someone out to do those things to you or anyone. It is just we didn't know any better at that time, okay? Along the way, opportunities come up. Lots of things do happen, right? But I guess at the end of the day, this is stopping you, that anger, that frustration, that focus upon the negative. It affects your life. I did a podcast the other day about people that how to forgive those that you'll never get an apology from. We don't forgive people that have wronged us for them. We don't want to give them any more energy, so that we do it for ourselves, because we find that being in those negative states of being, they don't attract anything good. They attract more shit. So, and I have known and done it myself, where I've been so negative that it affects other parts of your life and people that are around you. And the sooner that you can start being free, the good can start flowing in again. And it's quite beautiful. There is a process. Once again, it's not what you expect. Once again, it's something that needs to be learnt. It's like a muscle or a skill. Back and forth until you get it, and then it gets a bit quicker. But it profoundly changes your life. And I guess that's what I'm all about. I remember years ago not so long ago, but getting on, there was a guy who was doing a talk on your purpose. And obviously now I have a bigger understanding, and I know that the purpose of all of humanity is harmony. That's the end game for everyone. Everyone, living in life, they go, oh, I'm here, what's my purpose? What am I here for? Fuck off. You're here to create balance and harmony with the earth. Collectively, that's your purpose. If you want to know what your individual, what should I be doing? All the signs are all around you. What's your part in it to do with, what's going on? We have energy, and that energy goes where our focus goes, and so you might have a theme in your life. Certain things might keep happening over and over and over again. That might have something to do with what your part is. Yeah, you might have, I don't want to get spiritual in this podcast, but you might have come down here for a greater good or to do something, and that's part of the theme or what's going on. But at the end of the day, if something better comes along, you're going to take it, aren't you? You're not going to go, oh no, I was sent down, I've got this job to do this, and something better came along, but I'm going to stick with the shit that I got. Of course not. There's nothing, and all these things that you hear from different spiritual gurus and soul contracts and all this shit, they're all exactly what we're talking about in this podcast. They're from a lower consciousness, a time before, in past generations, in lower understanding. That's all they knew at the time. It had to be a bridge. They say the soul, fucking cut the soul ties, and can you do it? And there's 100 people on a post will fucking go, yeah, I'll help you do that. You can't do it. There's no such thing. It's just that in lower consciousness, you needed a fucking power cord to plug into your divinity, because you consciously couldn't fucking think of, in a logical 3D linear way, you couldn't work out what it's all about. So you made up little junctions, or little, that's what metaphors are. You can't understand things in higher dimensions, so we've made up metaphors to try and bridge the gap. So things change. Don't get stuck on that. Don't get stuck on all this stuff that you think is rigid. Karma. Right? Everyone's experienced it. Everyone knows it. You don't understand the reincarnation one, but not needed anymore. When you're a highly evolved human being having an experience here on Earth, the actual karma is drama. Now, if the end game is, a balanced harmony, then there's no drama there. The drama was created for a human being in low consciousness to get woken up, to get an awakening, to have bad things happen to them, so they have to clear them and realize that there's something better. It's a stepping stone, and while the stepping stone might go for hundreds of years, there's some things that go for fucking millions of years and then change. But you have no idea about them because you don't even know what fucking your own body can do. It's not your fault. You know, don't think that anything I'm saying is it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And there's no ceiling. You just keep learning and evolving and growing. We live in an expanded universe. Do you not think about that? Everything expands. Everything grows. You know, just because the narrative, just because fucking your trusted fucking news source that's fucking indoctrinating you into a belief system so that they can fucking, you know, have you as a very docile fucking customer. Just because the fucking news puts something on that they offer you no proof, nothing that you can test, and you fucking eat it. You take it like fucking hook, line and sinker. Yum. What sort of world is that, where we're consuming and fragmenting our reality with a whole lot of stuff that we don't even know is true, and yet someone like me comes along with core truth and fucking plenty of it, and things that you can test, and things that you prove that you are a divine being, and things that cure incurable diseases in 14 days that you might have had for 20 years. But you believe the guy on the news. Like, imagine how resentful I could be. Huh? Imagine how fucking absolutely batshit fucking crazy, resentful, angry I should be for actually having and being the greatest humanitarian of all time, and all of you just sitting on your hands watching the news. Anyway, that's today's podcast. I'll leave you with that thought. I'm nearly at my destination. I've gone from where I went to primary school and a couple of years of high school to where I went to high school in St Kilda and Elwood in Melbourne. You know, started this podcasting in Noosa. We've been everywhere. Anyway, have a great day, morning, noon, night, wherever you are listening to this. This is the Aaron Roussos Podcast.